Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to get into the astrology of January 5th to January 11th of 2026. If you've been here before, you're probably used to me recording at nighttime. This week, a little different. I had planned to do a video for the full year of 2026 and for January, the month of January, like I did for the month of December. But I got a little in over my head. A lot of work put in front of me here doing this. It's a lot more than it looks like. So I kind of just instead of allowing myself to get overwhelmed, I just kind of took a step back and decided, I'm gonna keep trekking on with my weekly videos for now, and maybe I'll get into a monthly video for the month of February. But it was just a little too much on my plate all at once that I wasn't really ready for. So we're gonna go along with this. And it's funny because we just had Mercury transit into Capricorn on January 1st, and it joined in conjunction with Venus and Mars and the Sun that were already all in Capricorn. And it seemed to me, at least, like the moment that Mercury went into Capricorn, this just massive heaviness fell. I have my Mercury and Venus both in Aries, so it almost seems like with Mercury and Venus being in Capricorn right now, that it just takes that Aries push forward fire and excitement and just hardened and heavied it. So here we are. We're going to do the week of January 5th to 11th right now, and we're going to keep going along with these going forward. And I'll do my best to throw in some extra videos for you guys as we go, as long as it's okay with my schedule going forward. So we step into this week on the heels of an intense Cancer full moon, now moving into a more grounded, goal-oriented phase. The cosmos centers on Capricorn energy. The Sun, Venus, and Mars all convene in Capricorn right now, opposite to Jupiter in Cancer, creating a push-pull between ambition and emotional needs. This means new beginnings in our plans and relationships are unfolding, thanks to a rare Sun, Venus, and Sun, Mars conjunctions, because we have these planets all in Capricorn right now, and the Sun making its way through the sign of Capricorn. We're this week about to have a couple of Cazimis, so that'll be the Venus Cazimi and the Mars Cazimi. And for those who don't know, that's just when the Sun passes over the exact degree that any given placement is currently sitting on, or any planet is currently sitting on. Yet we'll also navigate big reality checks and growth opportunities. In short, expect a week of significant shifts, old chapters closing and new cycles opening, with themes of responsibility, structure, and personal drive coming to the forefront. So as I move into the astrology of Monday, January 5th, I first just want to say that my last video ran up to about an hour and a half long, and that's because I've been adding way too much scripting in my videos. So what I've decided to do is basically I have a list here of all of the transits for each day and for the week ahead as a whole, and instead of reading those out and each description of those like I'd been doing previously, I'm just skipping over that and I'm going into my general description of what I have. And before, that general description was up to about 4 paragraphs per day, and I think that's way too much to be reading off of a script. So what I've decided to do instead is to just go with one general paragraph where I have all of the most important information, and then I'll sort of expand on that however I feel is necessary. So as I kind of get into the groove of this, we'll loosen it up a bit, but I'm going to get right into the first paragraph that I have written for Monday, January 5th. So the week begins with a Leo moon, meaning energy and confidence run higher after the sensitive full moon weekend that we had last week in Cancer. Early today, you may feel a disconnect between what your heart wants and what reality demands. The Leo moon makes uneasy links to the Capricorn Sun and associated planets that are also in Capricorn. It's a day to address responsibilities without dimming your inner spark. Try to inject creativity into mundane tasks. As night falls, A supportive Moon Chiron trine encourages forgiveness and self-expression. In summary, keep it playful but mindful. Honor your need for recognition while handling business, and the day ends on a healing, self-aware note. And this is why I make the point about Mercury on January 1st moving into Capricorn, because it's that right down to business attitude. So for me, feeling like I have all of these videos on my plate that I'm trying to get to, and realizing that I've taken on maybe a little bit too much scripting and too much of a handful at once for what I'm trying to do. Mercury in Capricorn kind of says, okay, let's not focus on the overwhelming details. Let's just trim out the unnecessary fat and get right down to business. What is our core structure of what we're trying to do? Let's solidify that, make that concrete, and move forward on that. So, like I said, that's what I'm doing with the weekly video, rather than trying to spread myself all over the place. You know what I mean? So moving on to Tuesday, January 6th, this is our Venus Cazimi day. And we also have the moon squaring Uranus in Taurus. With the moon void of course after a jarring Leo-Taurus square in the morning, the day may feel a bit off-center or slow to progress. It's best to stick to routine matters after 8 a.m., as new initiatives could stall. The big news is the Sun-Venus conjunction, Cazimi, a powerful alignment resetting how we relate and what we prioritize. The energy favors reviewing your long-term commitments and desires. Are they aligned with your core values? Despite any morning disruptions, aim for diplomacy and grace today. It's a good time for brainstorming or artistic work rather than concrete action. Take notes of insights around midday. Conversations or ideas may foreshadow emerging relationship themes. Overall, patience is key under the void moon, while the Venus Cazimi asks us to open our hearts to new values and relationship patterns. So on Wednesday, January 7th, we have the moon entering Virgo, and then a couple of aspects. We have the moon sextiling Jupiter, the moon opposing Saturn, and the moon trining Uranus. So an active day for the moon on Wednesday. After an unsettling start to the week, Wednesday's Virgo moon snaps us back to pragmatism. Once the moon shifts into Virgo pre-dawn, the cosmic gears engage and it's all systems go. The morning is one of the week's smoother patches. A moon-Jupiter sextile boosts cooperation and optimism, great for problem solving or offering support to others. Use these hours to tackle projects that require organization and care. Productivity is high. Emotions cool and steadiness grows. However, by evening, the Virgo moon runs into an opposition with Saturn in Pisces, which might manifest as fatigue, criticism, or feelings of being blocked. Don't be discouraged. Instead, slow down and prioritize self-care. Get rest and stay humble with your expectations. Late in the night, a moon-Uranus trine helps shake off the gloom. An unexpected solution or a change of perspective can free you from any earlier worry that you may be holding on to. The day's trajectory moves from efficient and hopeful to a bit tense, then ends on an innovative note. Balance work with breaks to navigate the night's brief emotional road bump. On Thursday, January 8th, we have no major aspects. We just have the moon void of course in late Virgo. And on Thursday, it carries a void moon in Virgo for virtually the entire day. So we may feel like we're in a holding pattern. With no new lunar aspects until the moon changes signs, it's best to focus on finishing tasks and refining details rather than launching anything brand new. You might notice a lull or a need to double check your work. This pause is actually useful. Review, organize, and catch small mistakes that slipped by earlier in the week. The Capricorn sun and planets are still pushing work and responsibility themes, but progress could feel slow or indirect under the void moon. Accept this as a cosmic maintenance day. It's a great time to declutter, process insights from earlier in the week, and prepare for the action picking up tomorrow. Keep expectations moderate and tie up loose ends by not forcing outcomes for now. You'll be ready to move when the momentum returns. And that's of course because on Friday we have the Mars Cazimi in Capricorn. But then we also have the moon entering Libra and Venus going opposite Jupiter. So Friday is high voltage. It begins with the Sun-Mars conjunction, Cazimi, infusing confidence and courage into our endeavors. You'll want to hit the ground running. And indeed, this is a prime moment to initiate something important or actively address a lingering issue. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so it's a new cycle here, which favors disciplined action. Note that the moon is still void here in the early morning and opposing dreamy Neptune around dawn. So clarity fully snaps in once the moon enters Libra late morning. Late morning onward, the moon turns more social and partnership oriented. The Libra moon helps us see others' perspectives just as Venus opposes Jupiter. This amplifies themes of generosity, indulgence, and relationship growth. It's a lucky aspect in many ways, great for meeting people or negotiating, but it can exaggerate feelings. Watch for going overboard, spending too much, promising more than you can deliver, or overestimating someone. By afternoon, the cosmic energy is expansive yet needs balance. Overall, Friday's alignments mark a fresh start in personal drive and a likely burst of enthusiasm. Aim high, but keep one foot on the ground, especially in matters of love and money. Then that brings us to Saturday, January 10th, where we now have the Sun going opposite Jupiter, Mars going opposite Jupiter, and the Libra moon forming a T-square, and the moon squaring Venus. So this is fun with Jupiter and the Sun, and well, the Jupiter going opposite with all of these planets, because all these planets are in Capricorn, and Capricorn being opposite from Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer. As they all move through the sign, they're all just hitting Jupiter one by one on this opposition. This is the climax of the week's energies. The Capricorn-Cancer opposition axis is fully lit. The Sun, Mars, and Venus in Capricorn all oppose Jupiter in Cancer across today and last night, forming a rare and intense configuration. In the pre-dawn hours, the Sun opposite Jupiter amplifies optimism and possibly arrogance. So check in with reality before making big leaps. By mid-morning, Mars opposes Jupiter, fueling bravado and a desire to fight for what we want. That's enormous momentum here. Used wisely, it helps us push through barriers, but be mindful of overconfidence or anger flashes. Of course, because Jupiter being the planet of optimism and expansion and abundance, and then Mars being the planet of aggression, conflict, and action, that would be the sort of tug of war going on there. Late morning brings the third quarter moon in Libra, which lands right in the middle of this cosmic tug of war. The Libra moon strives for peace and fairness, but is being provoked by Jupiter's expansive urges, and Sun, Mars, Venus demands for results. You might face a relationship or work crisis, a situation that forces a decision or compromise, and it's time to let go of what isn't working. Quarter moons are about release and find a new balance, Libra. Expect some tension in interactions. Practice diplomacy and don't take hasty action while emotions run high. By early afternoon, after the moon's square to Venus, the lunar influence goes quiet, void of course. Give yourself permission to pause and decompress for the rest of the day. The heavy lifting, emotionally and energetically, has been done. Process what happened, whether it was a breakthrough or simply a stressful morning. Rest, reflect, and avoid new confrontations while the moon is void. Saturday is intense, but it propels you forward if you stay centered and flexible. So on Sunday, January 11th, we have the moon still void, of course, in Libra, and we have the moon then entering Scorpio later in the evening. After the week's high drama, Sunday provides a much-needed breather. The moon drifts void in Libra all day, so the emotional climate is calm but potentially listless or indecisive. This is not the time to force issues or expect definitive outcomes. Instead, focus on regaining equilibrium. You may still be assimilating the events of the past few days. Allow yourself to do so. It's a great day for low-key socializing, enjoyable routine activities, or simply rest. If anything from the week requires closure, you can gently contemplate it now. Libra void moon is fine for reflecting and informal connection, just not for big new starts. Late at night, the moon slips into Scorpio, sharpening feelings and intuition as we head into the next week. You might notice an uptick in intensity or a second wind around bedtime. Overall, Sunday's message is to coast and restore. By evening, you'll sense the gears preparing to shift again. But for now, embrace the lull. You've earned a day of cosmic neutrality to integrate all that has been unfolding. So this week delivered a major forward movement on several fronts. With the Capricorn triple conjunction, we experienced internal reboots, particularly in how we pursue goals, Mars, and what we value in relationships, Venus. New cycles have been seeded, even if their results are not immediately visible. The oppositions to Jupiter brought key realizations. We've set the big picture of our ambitions versus our personal and emotional needs. For many, something crystallized, perhaps a decision about work-home balance or a project reaching a turning point, thanks to the third quarter moon. There's a sense that momentum is building. Old limitations were challenged and new potentials unlocked. The energetic takeaway is one of strategic expansion. We are now in motion, clearer on what we want and what we must have adjusted to get there. As a collective, we leave the week more aligned with our long-term vision, having shed some baggage and ready to welcome the fresh start promised by next week's Capricorn new moon. The wheels are turning, and what was initiated or realized in these days will fuel our next steps. So that's our week of January 5th to 11th, 2026. Heavy Capricorn presence, heavy Saturnian presence, being that Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. So that's really exciting. We have that triple conjunction, which in astrological terms is called a stellium. That would be 3 planets in the same sign at once. So that's exciting. Yeah, so that's our week. If you like this video and would like to see more, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment with your thoughts. I'd really appreciate it. I would love to read through my comments. So I appreciate you for being here. Would love to see you in the next one. Take care.